the Southern Ocean.
Hang on!
Australia's deadliest stretch of water. But if you're game, there's big money to be made out here.
No one else is stupid enough to come out here.
Couple of customers, $600 worth.
Sometimes you just need luck. You rub the wood.
Here's a good Tassie crate. We're not greedy, we just want more.
There's only 10 weeks to go until the end of the rock lobster winter hunting season.
I'll take your finger off.
Yeah! We're off the mark! Woohoo!
Okay.
What was that? Woo! Money!
For the lobster men, it's their last chance to put cash in the bank.
Godzilla. The bigger the better. If it weighs, it pays.
Until the fishing grounds reopen in spring. Get it right, and they can make a fortune.
$12,000 worth. You doing it?
Yep. There's something serious going on.
But get it wrong,
Yeah, prick.
and they can lose it all.
Just looks like it's game over now, I think.
Margate, Tasmania. And the crew of the Minamurra is prepping for their first trip of the winter season. This is Clive, skipper of the Minamurra.
Just grabbing a little bit extra bait in case we get hurt out there longer.
I'm a third generation fisherman. I've been a skipper for around 22 years, running my own boat. Before that, I spent 4 years fishing with my dad back in South Australia.
And this is Zach, Clive's deckhand.
I have to teach how to do it by time up.
It's Zach's second time on a lobster boat. His sea legs are wobbly at best.
Love the water, open space, weather conditions. It's all different every day. Not stuck in a factory doing the same like a computer.
It's really important to have a good deckhand. A simple mistake can just turn into a nightmare, really.
One of the first jobs is to load up on bait. Clive's bought 800 kilograms of blue mackerel and Cuda fish heads at a cost of $2,500.
Let's hope we catch a few fish to pay for it all.
They're on a 14-day run. First stop, Cox Bight in the remote south.
There we go, so we're off.
People often ask me, what does Minamurra mean? And it means plenty of fish. 55-foot steel boat, half wheelhouse. It's 48 years old, 8LX Gardner engine in it. Cheap to run, they knew how to build them back then. Had it now for about 12 years.
Clive is hunting for southern rock lobsters, aka Big Reds. And this is his last chance to catch some before the winter ends.
Just to run a fishing boat, it costs between $25 to $30 a kilo, so you need to be making at least that on top of whatever you're paying for your quota just to break even and make some wages. I'm not holding high hopes because it's winter time and it's a bit of a struggle. The weather pattern's a bit so-so.
A low pressure system is closing in over Cox Bight. Early reports are predicting gale force winds and a 5-metre ocean swell. But Clive needs the money, and he thinks that's where the money fish are.
The grounds I want to get to, I know there's going to be some fish there, but it just depends on the swell. I really need that swell to go back and the weather to fine up.
There's no turning back. Bass Strait. Danny's the skipper of the William Norling.
I think most blokes have a little bit of instinct still in the back of their brain somewhere. They have that hunter-gatherer instinct. Couple of customers. What's that? That's $250. $600 worth. Like I say to a lot of people, you know, my obsession is my profession. Absolutely. I just love it, yeah. Love the thrill of the hunt.
That's a pretty decent fish.
Good on you, Ricky.
Danny and deckhand Rick have been out here for 2 days. They plan to spend the next 8 days hunting for big reds.
Yeah, so the target for this trip, ultimately we want to get 600 fish, which is going to be about a tonne. We want to get 100 grand. Time we take quota out, run the boat, pay the crew, all the bits and pieces, yeah.
Once they've hit the magic number, they'll return to port and sell the entire load. More than 80% of all lobsters caught in Tasmania are exported live to China. It's a booming market, and Chinese demand is what drives the volatile per kilo lobster price. It goes up and down most days. Today's price for big reds is $95 Australian per kilo.
Hopefully we'll see some beauties. We'll see some 3.5s, up to 4.5 even. There is even fish that get caught occasionally, 5.2, 5.3.
The William Norling is off to a strong start.
Another 3 kilos, probably $300 worth.
Lobster hunting is all about risk and reward, strategy and skill. And this is how it all works.
We've got 50 pots. We set them off, we spread them out a little bit, different depths, depends on where you are. You can leave them down for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, sometimes during the night. And then you pull them next morning. Hopefully you've got some crays, hopefully you've made a pay. That's like I explain to people all the time about catching crays, you know. It's like trying to catch drunk people, you know. You just set your pots out in front of the nightclubs on a Saturday night. You wouldn't go and shoot them down at the church, would you? Just set them up at the nightclub. You just got to look in the right spots.
Most crews will drop their pots twice a day.
We clip the crays, they've got a little black part at the end of their claws. They probably just feel it, but it just makes them reluctant to claw another cray and fight. We've got 4! It's competitive too, you know, like you want to be catching more than the boat on that side of you, and you want to be catching more than the boat on that side of you. And yeah, it's nice to knock off the opposition. It's not very nice being on the receiving end of it, that's for sure.
The Minamara is approaching Cox Bight, and so too is the icy weather.
So it's going to takes about an hour to get across here, so 1, 2, about 3.5 hours to get there.
The weather's looking pretty, but I'm hoping that in about 3 days' time, 3 or 4 days' time, it's going to fine up and I'll be in front of people.
By being the first boat in the area, Clive will have the best chance of catching big reds.
I'm hoping to catch around half a tonne of lobsters at least. The old bank account's been slowly taking a hit as the bills have been paid because they don't stop. Stick and stone, make it pay.
Half a tonne is 500 kilos. At the current daily price, that's $47,500 gross. And that's why some of the skippers call lobsters money fish. The most prized seafood delicacy in the world. But they've got to catch them first. The crew of the William Norling is on a roll.
I'll pull them out, I'll count them, make the decision whether they're worth putting them in the hole. He's got a little counter in there. We can keep the tally.
They've caught 15 lobsters for the day, 50 for the trip so far. And every one of them needs to be logged and accounted for because of government-enforced quotas.
You can only catch so much. Like a fisherman's got a number in his book, and once that number's extinguished, that's the end. You're finished. In a way, we've got the goose that laid the golden egg. We don't really need to pluck any extra feathers out of it. It's a pretty good thing, I reckon.
The maximum penalty for catching more than your quota is 10 times the value of the haul.
Need to keep a pretty precise count for logbook purposes, and it gives us a better idea of the kilos, what it's all worth at the end of the day. You know, everybody likes to count their money.